These video games.
Video games, maybe it's good for kids. We don't know of these video games.
Welcome to the Snooty Ghost Podcast.
This is where we begin our haunting.
Snooty, Snooties.
You know what's liable to happen if we see a ghost tonight?
Mushrooms, banana peels, turtle shells.
Same great games.
Two-player fun on the split screen.
Never in the history of video games.
Well, there's another one for the video.
Whoa!
Welcome to the Snooty Ghost Podcast, episode 7.
Also known as
Oh, dang it, I messed it up. Welcome to the Snooty Ghost. Oh, I gotta do it again, huh? Welcome to the Snooty Ghost Super Expose Spectacular Extravaganza Extraordinaire.
You forgot to say it was the E3.
E3. Ugh. Anyways.
Yeah, just like we promised.
Alright. The E3 Super dang it. The E3 Super Expose Spectacular Extravaganza Extraordinaire.
Yeah!
Yeah, good thing I don't do real actual voiceover work, because they'd be firing me right now.
They'd be like, what, took you 4 takes?
Dang it,
for that
Ghost.
one line?
Dang it, Ghost! You're messing it up for us. That's my attempt at another accent. You guys get so much from this show. You get accents,
Really?
you get all the newsing info.
The newsing?
Yeah, that's
To them, it's the snoozing info.
Whoa, self-burn, I guess, or burn on me. I don't know. Burn. Episode 7.
Yeah, we're back. We did the pre-show for this show.
Yeah, we did, and I didn't upload it.
Oh, yeah, you did? You didn't?
No.
Did I? I feel like you sent it to me. I thought I shared it.
No. Because last week we were going to, do the big E3 thingy that I just said.
No, but we did. Episode 6 was the pre-show. We talked about things we're going to talk about in this one.
But then we did that little, because we weren't going to do it before Snooty went away, go visit his family, and we couldn't do a podcast on Sunday.
Yeah.
We did a little, quick one, because we
didn't upload that.
But I didn't upload that because I forgot.
That was like a little teaser trailer for this one. But
you didn't get the teaser trailer, it's a surprise episode.
Yeah.
No teaser trailer or surprise episode. Well, not a surprise. Is it a surprise? Well, because we didn't upload one last week. That's why. It's weird now.
It's more of a surprise, they're still around.
still doing it, eh, guys?
They were like, last week they're probably thinking, oh, it's done. They finally gave up.
Even blind optimism has its reaches.
Yeah.
But I don't think it does. Blind optimism. Someday they're going to go look back to these episodes and be like, oh man, these guys were doing it when they only had a couple listeners.
Even a blind squirrel is wrong twice a day.
What? No. It's even a broken clock is right twice a day. Or what's the other one? Even the sun shines on a dog's ass sometimes. I don't know, something like that. I always use the broken clock is right twice a day because that's sometimes how I get things right. Just being, it's 2 o'clock and it happens to be 2 o'clock.
Yeah, good timing.
Good timing. So what's up? Where are we at?
Where we at? Talk about some E3.
Oh man,
we've had some time to internalize what they said.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Check this out.
Whoa.
So Xbox is talking. We might offer keyboard and mouse support.
Yeah.
What's up with that shit?
I think it'd be cool.
They don't get it. You think it'd be cool? Yeah, you think it'd be cool to try to play against somebody with a mouse? Because they're gonna whoop your ass, bro. They're gonna whoop your ass.
Let me just say, I think it'd be cool if those people were in dedicated servers for people on mouse and keyboard.
So what do you mean? So that people could only play?
Say I have mouse and keyboard.
Somebody with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. So if
well,
you're
then
dedicated server, that's
okay. I mean. Yeah.
Because then why not? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Right? I mean, I could see that, but I don't want to play against people.
Oh yeah.
Who
get
are
destroyed.
Yeah, it's a different thing. You can move way faster, and I don't like. Again, I would actually like it if everybody played on the same sort of level playing field. I get that PC games are better, and I've said that 100 times, but I like the idea that it's a level playing field when everybody has the same Xbox, right? You can't,
Yeah, I don't really know why anyone would go out and buy a keyboard and stuff. If you're going to do that, just go get a computer that can do way more than the Xbox One can do, right?
Yeah, and consoles aren't at a place, it's probably pretty laughable for a lot of people, right? I mean, PC gamers, when they're saying, oh yeah, you're going to put a keyboard, why would I ever like
Switch
play.
over, yeah.
Yeah, why would I ever do that, right? I mean, I get it.
So the only reason I would think that would benefit you is, say, you were primarily a console gamer and you liked your Xbox, PlayStation, or in this case, Xbox.
Could you make a vibration mouse?
I think it would just fuck up where you're trying to click and stuff. Like your mouse is.
But it's like laser, though, right? Yeah, maybe it would.
It would like your thing would like start vibrating.
But like maybe you could design it so you had a mouse, right? And then you had this like thing that kind of went over top of it.
Stabilizes it.
Like you had something that went over top of it, like you have like a shell. So the mouse goes in the shell. And I'm gonna edit this out to make $1 million.
Whoa, just $1 million.
Yeah, that's not gonna buy me a lot today. $1.4 million.
Buy a shitty house in Toronto.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. You know what? I was looking at houses. Just looking at houses because I was thinking like it'd be cool to build a shipping container house or to like do something like that. Like, because I always want to build my own house.
Tiny
right?
house movement kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So I was thinking about doing that and all this other shit. And I'm thinking about like, okay, well, maybe I'll buy a bus and like convert them because I thought they're pretty cool. Like live in a bus, like just be that, you know, I'd just be the uncle that lives in a bus. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be that guy. That and you have to like live in RV grounds and shit. And I imagine my neighbors would be psychos. Or maybe I'd be a psycho.
All of a sudden, it's an episode of Trailer Park Boys.
What's that?
All of a sudden, it's an episode of Trailer Park Boys.
It could be, yeah, they're real quick. But that's the thing. Then I was looking at properties for around 25, 30 grand, something I could buy cash, like right out the gate. And you can get these little cottage properties. They call them year-round whatevers, man. I saw one. It's like a little cottage, man. It was only like $27,000. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. But the reality is I want to build a house anyway, so I don't know. This has zero to do with gaming. I don't know why I got on this topic. What were we talking about?
You said you were going to make a lot of money, and then
you
said not enough to buy a house, but you're going to build a house.
Jesus, these rabbit holes. But yeah, so it'd be cool if we had this mouse thing that would be, you know, vibration on top, and then you could just like click into the buttons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the mouse wouldn't vibrate.
Yeah.
And be like it'd be uninterrupted. You could like get the vibration because that's what I like. I like the vibration. Good vibration. I like the vibration in my controller when I'm shooting. Boom, boom, boom. It feels cool. I'm used to it.
What I was saying was the reason why someone who plays Xbox would want to maybe get a keyboard mouse support is if they have, say, a game like Diablo on their Xbox. That game is way better for PC just because you have all your hotkeys. It's like an RPG, right? So to like equip stuff and everything and cast spells. It's a lot easier on it.
Yeah, I could see games
keyboard.
like that aren't shooters or something like that where I could see that being
or like
a lot more feasible.
Halo Wars, I bet you that's probably one of the reasons why they want to do
shit, if
Halo
you think
Wars.
about it, even games like Fallout that aren't like they're still shooters, but I wouldn't mind playing that on a PC as much, right? Because it's just walking and picking shit up and like talking to people, so it's not as like crazy, like it's not really competitive. In that way, right? So I'm okay with it. Like, it might be frustrating, like, shooting some people because I still like the vibration shooting stuff, man, but I don't know. Yeah. What else we're talking about? Oh, yeah, because I brought that up random, and you want to go rate me E3 stuff.
Yeah. Is there anything else other than E3 you wanted to mention?
Oh, probably, but I'll blabber on. I'll find another point to remember it and blabber on. I don't remember right now.
Another thing that isn't necessarily E3 was, so Microsoft and Nintendo, for a lot of their games they're thinking about doing like cross-play between each other, so you can play your Xbox games online with people on the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty cool. But Sony is being lame and being like, no, we're not doing cross-play with any of you guys. So right now Nintendo and Microsoft are like, fine, we'll cross-play with each other in PC. It'll be cool, but PlayStation
they don't want to do it, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
They want all the money to themselves.
So what games are they trying to do that with? Rocket League?
Rocket League, and there's more. Now you put me on the spot because I don't have the list of games, but there's a few they were talking about.
Okay.
That they want to do crossplay for. Yeah, sorry, I can't remember. I'll have to look into it.
It's all good.
Update
It's all
you.
good.
All the other things I have is for E3.
Well, let's go.
So
let's
get into it
yeah.
then. All right, so there were a few different
the start of the expose extravaganza spectacular.
Extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire.
So I watched a bunch of the presentations, and some were better than others.
Some were much better than others. Who are we throwing under the bus? Who's getting fired?
Well, I want to say, first of all, Microsoft and Ubisoft had pretty decent presentations.
Oh, yeah?
But I'll get into the bad presentations, because everyone wants to hear about that.
Yeah. Who other than me?
I won't mention about like the worst presenter, because we'll get into that later. Foreshadowing.
Whoa.
But Square Enix and Sony had, well, the total consensus of the online community was that they had really bad presentations, because their presentations was more like trailer reels of the games without actually going in-depth and talking about them. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, why would you pay so much to like go to E3 and just watch them on YouTube? Like, you want to get some more in-depth. Where, like, say, Microsoft, they actually had, they talked about the games, like, their development, like, they talked about the future of the games, where Sony kind of just they just press play on a trailer reel and like, there you go, there's the games. Wasn't as like
sometimes I think that's like a backup plan, like maybe their presenter got sick or something like that, and they said, oh, this is our plan B, you know, just play this reel because Steve is sick.
Yeah. So a lot of people said it was like underwhelming, like in contrast to like Bethesda was really in depth. The Nintendo ones were all really in depth, and they talked a lot about it in Microsoft. So, but also over the past few years, Sony specifically, I think they did exceptionally a lot better than Microsoft at E3. So Sony had like a couple years ago, E3, Xbox was all about talking about their hardware and how they're going to have like the whole entertainment, not just video games, like it's going to be like a thing for like sports and everything, right? Where Sony was talking about more about like all their video games, and like a lot of people thought that Sony was like the gamer's choice over the past couple of years because of that.
Yeah.
So I think this time Microsoft is kind of catching up. That's why this time Microsoft had way more actual games that they're showing, where PlayStation maybe had a little less, and they were just kind of like coasting off their sales over the past couple of years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I'm always disheartened when I start thinking about the business side of video games. So it's like the only way, because they cost so much. It's like, imagine a painting costs, you know, $1 million to just make, and it had to be profitable. Like, what kind of art are you going to get that way, right? Or like, what are you going to get? You're going to get a bunch of, like, camels, right?
Yeah.
Like, horses that are drawn up by committees. You're never going to... You need people with vision. And I always feel like there's very few people...
It's because, like, oh, this painting sold well last year, so let's make one that's a little... kind of the same thing, you know?
Yeah,
like,
just change the color on it.
And then it'll sell well this year.
That's a good... Yeah. We need an Elon Musk in gaming, man. We need somebody who just has, like, vision and just says...
So in other words, a really, really rich developer who's not already in it to make more money.
And not even in the hardware aspect of it, man. And maybe if in you know, in concert with the hardware developer, but just people that are like willing to make games that are more like the opportunities are so endless, man. So boundless. Turn off your phone, Snooty.
It's off.
And I don't know. I feel like we're really being handcuffed by profit margins and stuff.
Yeah.
Needs to be more experimentation. People are afraid to do stuff. Because if it's not profitable, everybody gets fired.
Exactly, yeah.
But sometimes you gotta fail. Right? Never know, you know, I don't know. Games like No Man's Sky were a huge risk, man. And they had a lot of hype, and they didn't meet expectation, and they're still committed. They're still trying to make stuff happen.
It didn't help that the developer of that game lied the whole way through development about what it was going to be, and that's why. If you didn't lie so much, it probably wouldn't have received a lot better. Because you like tell people it's going to be one thing, and they get it, and it's something totally different, then you have nowhere to go, right? Like that game, arguably now, 2 years later, is actually a decent game, but because they spent the past years developing it, but you can't say it's going to be one thing at launch when it's not.
I think, again, that comes down to boardrooms wanting to meet deadlines versus artists saying it still needs more work.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they've got there right now, they could have waited another year or 2 years for to
Exactly.
and maybe not sort of had to do this while the game's already out and try to like recover ground, spent the time and made it great before it came out. I don't know. I don't know. But not a great strategy.
Yeah, that's why the companies that do like annualizer games like Assassin's Creed and like stuff like that, that's why you are so skeptical every year when one comes out, because like, oh, you've had a year to make this game. And how much vision can you put in 1 year, right?
It's not a lot of time unless you have a big team.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, these guys are on salary and they push them real hard, and it's like similar to the advertising game where you have people in there just working, trying to climb some corporate ladder, and that's not I don't think that's the environment where you want artists working, man. Like in that respect, I feel like the pressures aren't. I think pressure is good. Deadlines are great, but I think without vision, what are you doing? Like I don't know. What's the vision? What's the end goal here? To put out a crappy game, a 6 out of 10 game every year, and make a couple $1 million? Why not wait and make the next sort of Call of Duty wave or Halo wave or whatever big next sort of game is and innovate, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, then you make $1 billion, right? Yeah. Like, why not go that route? Especially if it's a risk-taking thing, because I think it's a risk-taking thing, and I think they try to manage a lot of the risk, right? Like, we could make this game about, trans people trying to find the right bathroom, or we could, make a game that appeals to everybody. And who knows? You don't know what's going to appeal to people. Sometimes people don't know what they like. Sometimes, you try a new food, and you like it.
Yeah. Even though it looks gross.
It's like, we know they like pasta, so it has to be something with pasta. Well, maybe they're sick of pasta. Maybe you've been feeding them pasta for 15 years now, and it's like, oh man, enough with the fucking pasta already, right?
Yeah, no one's ever said that in real life, though.
Yeah, well, true. There's a lot of carbs, though, man. I try not to eat pasta all the time, but...
But the perfect example of that is, like, Assassin's Creed, because every year they've been putting out a game, and they've been getting worse and worse. So like Assassin's Creed Unity was like, they sold really badly, and then they actually took a year off, and the first game that they had not annualized in all these years was Origins, and that game did really well and looks really good. It's the most recent one with the ancient Egypt and all that stuff, where they added parts where you can do a whole guided tour of Egypt in the game, and everything. And that was the first game they hadn't annualized since Assassin's Creed started like over a decade ago. And it turned out really well, but the problem is the next game is right back on that annualization schedule. It's coming out right a year later, so I don't know if they actually learned anything or not.
Why not make DLC or make something else? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, for like Origins instead of making a whole new game. But they say that the next game is supposed to be like everything they learned with Origins. They're gonna make it a whole new thing, but
yeah, and then they're gonna just push the envelope. There's a line of what's possible. They push it up to 5% over the line, and that's what happens the next time. We figured out why and how we can get up to that 5%, so it's not 5% over the line. We know how to make that under the line this time. So now we're 5% under if we do everything the way we do it now. So they'll go off and be like, yeah, we'll be 5% under, so we have 5% to play with. Yeah. What if we had 10%?
Yeah,
and then the game ends up 5% over. We always push the limits, man. The game is about pushing limitations, or the industry seems about pushing limitations sometimes, man. And I don't know if that's good if you can't do it well. Right? Some games have ambitious projects, like The Witcher is pretty ambitious with all the voice actors and the size of the map, and they took a long ass time to do it.
And that's like CD Projekt Red, obviously who made Witcher. It's making Cyberpunk, which they announced back in 2013. So hopefully that means that the game has all that work put into it, which...
Like, it'd be great, yes, if you're a game developer and you could release a game every year that was amazing and everybody could buy it and it really changed the gaming industry, but, like, don't think for a second you can't ruin your brand value, right? Like, I mean, think of Ubisoft or think of EA or think of these companies that were huge before and we always associated with AAA titles. Now we're just suspicious. It's just like every time they come with a AAA title, we're like, see the gameplay footage, we're like, we don't know. Is it going to look like that? I mean, after the Division and after, like, other debacles like that, especially in the last 5 years, I mean, the trailers now are half, like, playable, but they're half cutscenes, like...
Yeah, you can't tell what's what.
It's nonsense.
It's like when we watched the trailer for The Last of Us 2. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
But you don't know how much of that is actually cutscene because everything looks so planned in that trailer. When you're sneaking around stuff, then you crawl through she crawls through the shelves, and then the guy runs at you with the knife, and then you manage to like stab him in the neck. It all seems like so planned.
Well, here's the thing: if you were actually playing, how would you do that? Because there's no visual cues on the screen. And the one time where something fell on the character in the trailer, they had to like press they had the little square button or the X button up there, like you had to press it or whatever. That was the only time I ever saw any button on the screen. And I saw them get in the fight scene where a dude came up. She blocked it and countered and killed him or whatever, man. But if that was in real life, we all know. We've seen them do that in video games. It comes up, kind of slow-mo's for a second. The B comes up. You got to, like, time it with the fucking on-screen buttons. So you do the counter move, and there was none of that.
You could say, for the trailer, they took out the cues. But they had a cue in one part of it. So it's, like, misleading, right?
Exactly.
So you don't know.
And I would think you would want to leave all those cues in there. Like, I don't know... It's funny because you'd think with all the controversy over the last couple of years, integrity would be a huge focus.
Yeah.
Right? Because they lost so much stock. A lot of people lost stock in trust, right? And they had lots of it before. They had lots of like, oh, this is the game. Everybody would be like, yeah, and then the game would deliver. You know, in the mid-2000s, a lot of times the games delivered, I felt like. Whereas now... the trailers look awesome, but the games don't deliver.
Exactly.
Right? The games are more like, oh, well, it's kind of like... It became like movies in a way. Kind of like where the trailers and the movies, they show you all the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
And you go see the movie and you're like, oh, man, I saw the movie already. Like,
there's times where they can overcome that. For example, when the very first gameplay trailer for Rainbow Six looked amazing. Like, the hostage and everything was so realistic, and you like walk toward them and kind of like cower, and like it was like hyper realistic. Like there was a scene where the drone would drive the hostage, and she's like on the ground, kind of like trying to communicate with the drone, like waving at it, and like come here and all this stuff. And it was like really realistic looking. And the game is not that detailed, but because the actual gameplay of the game is pretty solid, and it's still a really tactical, solid shooter, and like they didn't really screw it up too much other than like arguing, saying that it's not realistic enough because all the stuff they've added over time. It's still a solid game, and that's what kept it going. Whereas something like The Division wasn't solid enough to overcome those expectations.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with The Division. It was a total failure in my point of view. Not just because the graphics weren't as great, because I can look past that if the gameplay is there. But the gameplay was never, ever smooth. Everything felt clunky, lag. It was just a nightmare. That game was a nightmare to play.
It was really unbalanced too with the PvP. Where
the Dark Zone,
yeah,
that was?
Yeah. Apparently, it was just really easy to if you're a lot higher level than people in the Dark Zone, you just get destroyed. So like, there's no way.
Yeah, because your weapons are all based on. So like, when you're level 10, your machine gun bullets do a certain amount of damage, and when you're level 50, they do a lot more damage, which is stupid to me. I friggin' hate it when games do that.
Yeah, because then PvP gets ruined. Like, how can you go in there as a new player and expect to play PvP if you're getting wrecked by everyone? If your gun does like no damage, right?
Yeah. I was a level 10, I took out a level 12. What? How'd you do that? Just so good. Like,
yeah, so then it just becomes farming, and you have to like just play offline farming forever just to get better weapons just to be good enough to go online. It's stupid.
Yeah, I hate that. If you're a game developer and you're listening to this, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sony also, they had a couple interesting games that they revealed, like Ghosts of Tsushima was a samurai kind of game that looked really beautiful. I believe I showed you the trailer maybe. It's really really well designed graphic. I don't know how I'm gonna explain this. It had really good lighting. It was basically, you have to watch. I'm gonna post the trailer online, so I'm not trying to paint a word picture that I'm not doing a good job of.
Okay.
Do you remember? Did I show you that trailer
What trailer?
for Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah, probably. It sounds stupid though.
It looks really good. It's like a samurai game, kind of like For Honor-ish in the fighting, but the graphics look really good.
Oh, it's not like an anime.
No, no, it's
RPG?
like super realistic looking.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'll have to show you again. It's really good.
Samurai.
They showed a Resident Evil 2 remaster, which if you like old school Resident Evil, because it's a complete remake of the original, just like with better graphics, and it looks amazing because it looks like they did a really good job with the engine on that one.
Yeah, I glad they went back to the old style because I'm not a fan of the last few Resident Evils, man. I don't know what they're trying to do. They weren't very good games.
Yeah, well, the latest one I didn't really play, but it was the first person. We did the kitchen, which was the VR experience for that game, and
that was awesome.
Yeah, and that's directly in Resident Evil 7, which is like a first person. That game had crazy good reviews. Everyone was saying it was amazing. So that's one game I want to pick up. But the games before that, Resident Evil 5 and 6, they were kind of arcadey, running around. Number 5, you're like in Africa shooting African zombies. Remember that?
Oh,
one?
I remember that controversy. Yeah, because all the zombies were black, and the guys were like, "Well, yeah, it's in Africa."
Yeah,
and they had to like make all these different color zombies.
They didn't. Not the copy I had.
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh, and
100%
the game I had, they were just all African zombies.
I'm pretty sure that the game was either updated or whatever.
It must have been updated because I bought that game when it came out, and there was all.
Yeah, but they updated them for sure. Because I remember they didn't change. I remember that the zombies. What annoyed me about that game, the zombies only had like 3 different outfits. Like one was like a plaid one was like something else. And I remember thinking like, when they changed the colors, because they made like 3 different colors of zombies, if I remember correctly. There were 3 different colors, like whitish, brownish, and then black ones. And I remember thinking like, what, you can't do more variety with their clothing? Like, it's kind of stupid, man. But that's just what I remember from a long time ago.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, maybe it is.
So yeah, I'm excited for Resident Evil 2. I have the original Resident Evil, not remastered or anything, but on my Xbox. That game's really hard.
What game's hard?
The first Resident Evil.
It's not.
Maybe I just suck at it.
Yeah,
it's not hard. It's like the puzzles. Like, okay, I'm just stuck on one puzzle and I'm saying it's really hard. But I'm stuck on one puzzle.
You're stuck on a puzzle.
And so I put it down. But I feel like every time I get stuck on a puzzle game, I put it down and like go back and play it. I beat it like right away. I'm like, oh, why was I stuck on that?
Yeah, right. Probably throw the game out so you can't beat it.
Shred it.
Shred it. He's reading from his phone, guys.
Yeah, just getting some updates. There was
some updates.
They showed Sony showed a game made by the creator of Rick and Morty called Trevor Saves the Universe. Well, it's made by one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty, and it looks like
sounds boring.
In Rick and Morty, what are those little blue guys called?
The Meeseeks?
Yeah, the main character looked like one of those guys. And I don't know, it looked like it might be funny. If you like Rick and Morty.
I do like Rick and Morty. It's a pretty good show.
So you might like that game?
I think I will try it.
So Microsoft, altogether, they showed over 50 games, but most of them were indie games, not 50 like AAA titles, obviously. But they had a reel that flashed a lot of them, and it looks like they're really trying to push their gaming, like their actual games opposed to like their hardware this year, whereas over the past couple of years, like I said, it was a lot about their hardware that they're trying to show us. So
yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see how they do with that. But there's going to be a new console coming out in Xbox 2020.
Yeah, I think their next, and they said something, the next console that comes out is going to be like the last console the way we know it, where you have discs and stuff, and then after that it's all going to be like Game Pass kind of style.
Okay.
You don't like that?
I don't know. Not really. Because then you can't play if the shit isn't online. They need to figure that shit out, man. Because sometimes the internet goes out, and what am I gonna do? Of course I want to play my Xbox. Half my games don't work. They need to figure that shit out.
I guess like the online games, you could probably play.
Some of them aren't even online. Pool doesn't work.
Right now, yeah, you're right. Right now, some of the games that are
trying to play pool is like, oh, you can't play. You got to be online to play pool. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they definitely need to fix that. Or even like, if your profile is online, and you try and play an offline game, it won't even. You'll have to like start at the beginning because you can't load your profile or something.
Oh yeah, that's whack. Yeah, they need to figure that shit out.
But GameStop, Electronic Boutique, and like all those companies are going under because no one's buying discs anymore. So they have to do something, right?
GameStop owns EB Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about the poor GameStop guys. Well, what could they do instead? They could sell consoles.
That's what, right now they're selling consoles. If you go into like an EB Games or GameStop right now, half their store is like just gaming merch, like toys and stuff based on games, you know?
It should probably just be like consoles and accessories and shit, right? Maybe some like fanboy t-shirts, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like right now in there.
Yeah, they got all types of shit in there. I hate going to EB Games. Well, the one here, because it's so small.
Yeah, they're all really small, I feel.
There's another one that's further on the other side of the city that's not so bad. It's like kind of near Plaza, and just it never seems to be too busy in there. But the one that's in the mall at Lime Ridge is just always too many people for that small store.
Yep.
For that small store.
People are going to Google that mall's name and find out where it's located.
It's okay. Just send me a message, I'll meet you there.
Whoa. We'll go make fun of GameStop together, or EB Games, or whatever.
Yeah. What else you got in your little note phone there,
on my
bud?
note phone.
This is driving this whole thing right now. I'm just ready to do the top 6.
Well, I was just gonna mention a couple of the panels still here. So
what?
Nintendo, they had a pre-recorded kind of show that they put on because they had interviews from their headquarters in Japan, and they were not in English, so they had to have video with subtitles. And they had this thing that was called Nintendo Direct, and it's kind of their indie showcase, where they had a long trailer of all their different games. There was Damien Ex Machina, which was like a shell-shaded Gundam-style shooter, so kind of like mech robots and stuff.
What?
Mech robots.
Mech robots.
Yeah.
Mech bots.
There was a new Pokemon game, Pokemon Let's Go, and there was 2
Screw
versions.
That game.
Why, you don't like Pokemon?
No. It's stupid.
Pokemon Go ruined it for you?
Pokemon, whatever. It's all stupid.
One thing that was interesting about that Pokemon game, though, is it comes with a new controller for your Switch that's shaped like a Pokeball, and you gotta like pretend like you're throwing it at the screen, and it looks like it throws the Pokeball.
Oh yeah.
It was really, really gimmicky, but if you like Pokemon, you might like it.
Those are gonna go into the TV.
Yeah, a lot probably.
Yeah.
I remember when Nintendo came out with the Nintendo Wii, the nunchucks.
Oh yeah.
People were chucking them at the TV and stuff, and then they had the strap. And then at the beginning of the game, it's like, make sure you strap your nunchuck to your arm so you don't whip it around.
Not only that, people were getting smashed like from all the movements. People that were standing beside them, people were getting smashed with Wii U controllers.
They call them nunchucks for a reason.
Yeah, they should have made them out of rubber or something. Something that's soft.
Yeah, it's whacking people. There was a trailer for new Mario Party.
Oh yeah.
Which is actually notable because you know how with the Switch you can obviously take it out of its dock and it's a screen?
Yep.
If you have 2 friends that have Mario Party for the Switch, you can take your screens and put them on the table or whatever and line them up, and then how you play the games, they play differently depending on how you have your Switch lined up. So say you have your Switches, because they're rectangles, right? Say you have them lined up in an L shape, the Mario Party games you play will be in that L shape, and like your characters will go from one screen to the other, or if you have them side by side, it's like a big screen, and you're like in play, like it's
That's
like
cool,
extending your screen.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so if you have friends with if you have a bunch of friends with Switches, you can put all the screens together and have like a big game.
If any of our listeners want to donate a Switch to us, that'd be cool. Just saying.
Would be very cool.
But to me, not to Snooty though, because Snooty doesn't want one of those anyways.
You could give us both one, and then we could line it up, and we could actually do what I'm explaining, how they lined it up in Mario Party.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You want to connect Switches, bud?
Yeah, that sounded a little homoerotic.
That's it. Did it? I don't know. I think it's the eye of the beholder, my friend.
Maybe it's just what I want to hear.
Oh well, there we go. All right, moving on.
Anyway, there was a new Mario game, Captain Toad.
Oh my god! How many times did we talk about Mario stuff?
As if anyone really wanted to play as Toad. He's like the least likable Mario character.
Yeah, he's so little. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
He's such an afterthought, Toad.
Everyone hates Toad just because in the original Mario games, it's like, you think the princess is in the castle with Toad's there, you're like, Toad, you're not the princess. And he's like, oh, she's in another castle, and you just want to...
Yeah, that's not his fault.
I don't know.
I was never mad at Toad. Toad was just like...
I was mad at Toad.
Toad was like your friend's little brother.
I was shooting the messenger hard.
Was around, but was never like a problem. Yeah, you were shooting the messenger hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another big one for Nintendo was new Super Smash Brothers.
Fucking stop with the Mario shit. How much Mario stuff is there?
Super Smash Brothers is everything, not just Mario. It actually has over 60 characters, which is pretty big for a fighter.
Yeah,
60 characters to fight with.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So it's going to include every single character in all the other Super Smash Bros. Games plus more.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that was a fighting game, man. I thought, but I think Mario's on the cover of it or something. That's why I thought.
He's one of the characters, but a one of 60 though. So
is Luigi a character?
He is.
I feel like Luigi would be tougher. I feel like Luigi has the reach.
Yeah.
He uses jab, high kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, since I had an older brother, he was the character I always had to play with. So yeah.
Yeah, Luigi's the man. I was always Luigi. By choice, though, because everybody's like thinks Mario's good. Well, I got it from Mario Kart. I was always Luigi. A lot of people were, though. I think Luigi was like the number one second choice for people.
The number one second choice. And one more thing I just want to add about Nintendo. They had a Q&A directly after their conference that was right ahead of their Splatoon championship and the Super Smash Bros. Championship. So everyone got to go to the Q&A and then could watch like the finals of whatever. So that's another thing that kind of like put them ahead of like Sony and stuff, because people were complaining Sony's really underwhelming, but Nintendo went ahead and like they held like a whole like tournament right after that people would go to, which was kind of cool.
Nintendo's been doing it for a long time. I imagine they pay the right people to make their presentations at E3. So.
But like Sony, come on, it's not
come
like
on,
they're
Sony.
It's not like Nintendo's been around for a long time, but so has Sony and PlayStation now. It's not like
Sony was big in the 90s.
Yeah, big in Japan.
Now they're
Get
crap.
it?
Now their stuff's crap. Like their TVs aren't great. And all that other stuff isn't really known to be great. Speakers aren't that great anymore.
I'm surprised they don't make cars. Sony car. Just because it's Japanese.
Sony cars.
They make stereos for cars.
Yeah, they do. And they make they had cell phones for a bit. The Ericsson.
The Sony Ericsson.
Yeah.
I recognize that by name, but I can't picture what it looks like.
Oh, it looked like, I don't know, a smartphone, I guess. For the
Yeah.
most part. What else does Sony make? I don't know. Who cares? What else you got? He put his phone back in his pocket. Why did he put his phone back in his pocket? That's where all the content is.
Well, there's some content that we wrote down. Actually, a lot of content for our top 6.
Top 6.
Which I think we should get into.
What's it? What is it? What's the top 6?
The top 6 is. Are we going to cue the music or?
I don't know. Well, not now. We can.
Pull it up on the thing. I need to see the top 6.
Pull it up on the thing. What thing?
Pull it up, Ghost.
Pull that up, Ghost.
Pull that up, Ghost.
Pulling it up. Da, 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 da.
There we go.
Yeah, clapping. Everybody clap. Everybody clap. But not at the same time. We're both like, we got our off clap. There's only two of us. We're both like we're like trying to be in a chant.
I keep singing.
Stop syncing with claps.
I can't help it.
He fucking has to clap the exact same.
It's because I used to play music and like you gotta go with the
Now do it. Now you clap. No, that's the same speed as me, idiot. God damn it. You start clapping. Why you gotta go all fast now? Go normal. Yeah. We did it. That's people. That's great minds working together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet you listeners enjoyed that.
Fucking clapping along. We're clapping along to a song and shit.
All right.
All right.
This is a very special top 6.
This is the Snooty Ghost Top
6. Worst presenter. Which platform had the most reveals? Types of games. Devs with most reveals. Like developers who had the most. Franchises, new versus old. Games we're skeptical about is going to be the final thing we talk about.
Yep.
So. All right.
Worst presenter.
The worst presenter.
There was a couple.
Minus me and Snooty.
There was a couple bad presenters.
Well, not really presenters. Yeah, there was a few bad.
But the worst would have to be for the game Prey, and their DLC called Moon Crash.
Ooh, it's so bad. He picked his nose and wiped it on the little podium.
That didn't happen, but
fake news. Fake news.
They did make.
I started a rumor about you.
There was a guy and a girl. I won't call them up by name.
Guy and a
girl. But they were just trying to make really corny jokes that everyone didn't laugh at.
I saw that. It was scripted. Looking at the prompter.
Yeah, and he like stuck a sticky note on her and was like.
Here's what you do. Here's what you do. Instead of listening to us of why we think it's bad, just Google it. Google the Prey thing and you'll see.
Yeah, Prey Moon Crash, watch it.
And then leave a nasty comment on YouTube.
and say that.
Feel bad.
Tell them that Snooty Ghost told you to.
Yeah, say from Snooty Ghost, ooh, mean comments. Talk about their, hit them, go right for the soft spots, like their dad not being proud of them.
And then they're going to be forced to listen to our podcast to hear if it's true, and we'll get that many more listeners.
Forced to listen.
Yeah.
Open your ears!
Snooty Ghost.
Which platform had the most reveals?
What? Which platform had the most reveals? Well,
so we actually did some painstaking research.
It was painstaking. We sat here for what must have been 45 minutes at least.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that 45... I'll tell you what, that 45 minutes was torture.
Yeah.
Sitting over here.
Extra 45 minutes I had to spend with Ghost.
Extra 45 minutes I had to spend with you. How about that?
Whoa.
Ooh, sorry I had to...
Both ways.
It does. See what I did there? I just flipped it around on there.
I know.
Snooty Ghost.
So, we counted through every single game.
That's PlayStation. That's Xbox. That's Nintendo. That's VR.
That's PC. We got you some numbers. What were they, Ghost?
What were they? Well, I'll tell you what. The first place who had the most reveals out of any platform was the PC guys.
Yeah, I feel like that's not surprising. There. Yeah, because... But... Yeah?
They had out 131... And PlayStation 4, okay?
Yep.
126.
Wow. So there's a lot of PlayStation games.
And Xbox, 113.
So pretty close.
Nintendo Switch, 50. They were like they didn't have a lot of games, and I actually kind of expected more when I thought about it. I thought Nintendo would be, I don't know why, but I feel like...
Especially because Nintendo... Maybe, like, you could say both ways, like, oh, right now they don't have a big catalog, so... But that could be a reason why they should have a lot of reveals.
But keep in mind, too, something else is that all these games don't take in consideration what kind of games. So some of them are small, some of them are probably, like, arcade games, like side-scrollers. They're not all AAA titles, right?
That's true.
You could say that maybe Nintendo had more AAA titles. I don't know. We actually, one thing we didn't count. So...
Next time. So, yeah, plus PC, a lot of the games I feel for PlayStation, Xbox also are on PC, so that's another reason why they would have a higher number. It's not PC exclusives.
True. Types of games.
What were the categories for the types of games that we got?
Action adventure, shooter, RPG, fighting, strategy, sports, platformer, and VR.
All right, it's a pretty broad. I think it covers most categories that you have for.
Yeah. So, do you want to start from who had the least?
Yeah. So.
Or do you want to start from who had?
We can start at least.
Least. So the least type or genre of game coming out is virtual VR. So there was only 4 games in total at E3 that were VR.
And 4 is actually, considering how PlayStation has PSVR and stuff, that's kind of low, you'd think. You'd think they'd have more.
Yeah, I would think
that
so
they would
too.
showcase.
I think they're still working on the hardware right now. You know, I think they're still trying to get it right because we're in this weird space where, you know, we know it's going to change because we still haven't figured out how to really move.
Yeah.
You know, like without these big platforms to walk on and mimic movement, we haven't figured out. Like some places, some of the, like the Vive has found a way to sort of capture your movement, you know, with these sensors you put around the room, but I don't know. They haven't figured out another way, so I feel like that's kind of going to limit things. So, and then we have platformers at the next second lowest. So what's a platformer?
So,
Snooty?
platformer is a game. Well, it was named specifically because you do a lot of jumping on platforms. So, games, a lot of 2D side scrollers are platformers, like your original Mario game or like Sonic. Those are platformers, and then a 3D platformer would be like Mario 64, where they basically took that same gameplay and made it in a 3D space where you're jumping on things and stuff.
That makes sense. So there was actually 6 platformers. This, which isn't a lot. It isn't a lot.
Nope. A lot of platforming games fit other categories too. So if it's primarily platformers, you see more like kid games, I would say, like Spyro the Dragon stuff, because it doesn't fit in other categories. It's not like a platforming shooter or an action adventure. That's why you have a low number. What's next?
Sports games. There was 10 sports games. 10 of them. 11 strategy games. 15 fighting games.
It's actually a lot of fighting games.
26 RPGs. 26 shooters. Tied shooter RPG.
Yeah.
And then doubling second. Actually, if you double the tied second place, 58 action adventures.
Yeah.
So if you took both shooters and RPGs that are tied for both 26, still not enough to beat out the number 1 spot at 58.
Yeah, I think this list kind of shows the general popularity of these styles of games. You think?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, if you look at FIFA's one of the most sold games ever, and that's only from sports, and there's only 10 of those, right?
Yeah.
Mario, another platformer, really small, really large, group was number sold.
That's
Fighting
true.
games, it really depends. So I think you could say the action adventure is a lot more saturated.
Mm-hmm.
I would think there's going to be a lot shittier games. There's going to be a lot more games that do shittier in action adventure than do shittier in any of the other categories.
Yeah, so sports only has 10, but those might be 10 big names like Forza Racing and NBA 2K, right?
Roger that. Yep.
So even though there's less of them, there might be more quality. Yeah. Developers with the most reveals. So we went
The
through
most reveals at E3.
At E3, yes. So we went through and looked at all the developers, and we actually had one surprising result, I guess.
Well, yeah, let's start from the lowest again, just because it works out that way. So, the top 3 developers here. We did 3 because there was a lot tied for 4 here. So Ubisoft had 3, and they got the 3rd spot. Ubisoft had 3 games revealed, new games revealed, announcements. I don't remember what they were exactly. Nintendo had 4 at number 2, right? And we both heard of Ubisoft, we both heard of Nintendo, right?
Yep.
Focus Home Interactive had 6.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up the games that they'd have, just because you don't think of them right off the top of your head.
Well, you should have just kept that silent and, researched that you were doing that in the background instead of like, hold on, I'm just pulling this up.
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm being honest.
Well, like some bullshit-ass podcast or something. Come on, man. Professionalism.
Yeah.
professionalism.
Yeah. Anyway, so they have games like Vampire, which was a recent action game that came out, and Farming Simulator 19 was their like big reveal.
Yeah, their big reveal was Farming Simulator 19, which is, I don't know, if you like those types of games, good stuff. I can't believe they made 19 of them though. What are they changing?
That's
It's
crazy.
just farming. What are they updating?
Yeah, it's not like they can make new farm animals.
Now you have to poison seagulls.
We're
Keep them off your
farming
land.
giraffes in this version.
Well, that's
Different animals.
true.
Well, I'm thinking, well, how many other things can you change? Maybe like this time you're pot farming
That'd be cool.
for 2018.
That'd be cool. Because it's legal soon in Canada. We're in Canada, so
Yeah.
yeah, take that. Franchises, new versus old. So new franchises, which is games you never heard of, just brand new one, versus old ones that are sequels or add-ons or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So what were the numbers on that? How many new franchises versus old franchises?
So we had, we had 64 old franchises
Okay.
out of 157.
Yeah, wow. So
that's nearly half.
yeah, so about 94 then.
94 new franchises out of and 64 old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. I think I like when I see that there's more new franchises as opposed to old ones, because it means that they're not just trying to.
Yeah, so they got, I don't know, man. That's really close. I feel like there just needs to be a little bit more creativity there.
There should be more new ones. I know.
So 64. So there's 157 games. 64 of them are old franchises,
Yeah.
and 93 of them are new franchises.
I think.
So, man, I don't know. That seems close. That seems really close. Okay, well, I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. Da 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 da.
Games that we are skeptical
Skeptical
about.
as shit about.
Yeah.
Guess who has the Division 2 as their number one? Ghost does, because the Division 1 was so shit. I feel like the Division 2, there's no way that they can make up for what they need to do.
Yeah.
Like, this game is not going to be... This game will probably not even be on pace with what they promised the first one to be.
Yeah. And the Division doesn't have that intrigue. Like the storyline and everything in Division isn't that much to like pull me in. I haven't heard anything. I think you're just like in another part of like New York City in this one.
What
Just
they should have
during-
did, they really should have made it so maybe your character, like they should have kept the weapons all equal. Weapons should not do more damage than whatever. I think that if your shooting is leveled up, then maybe your shots are better and it's easier, faster to reload, stuff like that. Like that all makes sense. But doing the, my 5.56 bullet for my M16 is all of a sudden way more powerful. Like that's stupid to me.
Yeah.
All that should just be leveled out. But again. Not a
Like-
fan of the game, so I don't want to beat up on it for those who are.
It ruined this just like PvP, because Destiny does the same thing where as you grow levels you get stronger, your guns start doing more damage. But that doesn't cross over to PvP. That's a totally different game mode. And so when you're in player versus player, everyone's like level.
Well,
playing
yeah, I
field.
have no problem when you're fighting aliens and stuff like that. Like, I get that, why they do that. I mean, well, I shouldn't say I have no problem. I don't like it. It's not ideal.
Well, because the enemies get stronger too as you get stronger.
Yeah, I like the idea. I like the style of like Halo, where everything is just equal, and
Yeah.
your amount of ammo and your access to weapons and the amount of enemies is what the variable is, right? Because that's realistic. You can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, in real life, my M16 gets more powerful as I, kill
Get more experienced, yeah.
communists or whatever. Kill more commies.
So I was skeptical about.
Snooty's got a whole list. Snooty is pessimistic as fudge about games coming out. Go ahead. What's the list of these games Snooty's skeptical about?
So-
Half at E3.
There's Anthem, which was EA's Destiny killer.
Hater. You're a hater.
Yeah,
Anthem
so-
looks amazing.
It looks good, but
looks
I'm
like
skeptical
amazing.
because I think that they're going to ruin it. in some way, shape,
I'm just
or form.
trolling you, man. I don't know if it looks that awesome.
It does look awesome.
It looks alright.
But there's so much that they're saying about how it's like all open world and you have to work together with your different classes all online.
I fucking hate that work together bullshit.
Yeah.
I hate it.
And
make me work with some fucking 14-year-old snot picking friggin' idiot who's yelling at his mom, and some other guy who doesn't have his mic on, and some other person who's got his mic on, and there's just music blaring. Like, I gotta work with these idiots. All of them just tell them they fuck my mother. Like, okay, thanks.
And they said that game is supposed to be played with like other people throughout the story of it. So I don't know. It looks visually good, but as we know, for early gameplay trailers, you never know nowadays. But
there really needs to be a government body, an oversight committee that holds all these gaming shit. Like, I wish someone would start an event similar to E3, in the spirit of E3, but make it so there's a criteria for entry. So only the games, or only games and trailers that have accurate gameplay, that nothing can be embellished, timelines, like something there needs to be integrity. Right? Imagine that you had a gaming event that everything you knew on there was going to be legit and you weren't going to be bamboozled. Go to E3, you don't know half the shit you see if it's a good trailer or a bad trailer, and companies can just do whatever they want. They can get away with like having these half real, half fake trailers. But imagine we had an E4, right? Yeah. And at the E4, you weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Imagine you weren't allowed to bamboozle people. Imagine you weren't... Oh, wait, you look like you're...
Sorry, I wanted to just...
I know, but I know. I can just tell that you're just like kind of half listening and you're like trying to think of something, your next thing to say, which is frustrating as a communicator. What do you want to say?
I was just going to say it's kind of like how right now they have advertising standards that you have to adhere to legally.
Well, yeah,
but they don't have that in the gaming industry.
Well, it applies to it to a certain extent, but it definitely doesn't apply to these events, and they definitely can have a lot of like, oh, you know, we look. This is a bit of what we hope to do. This is a bit of like. I think they need to have better categories for things. I think they better have like different ways to do presentations. Like maybe they should just have a section where it's like just gameplay trailers, right? So it's like, okay, so you have one that can go into this category. So if you wanted to go see games that are coming out in the actual, they have a game trailer, like there's a game trailer room, and different games can sign up for it to show their gameplay, right? So it's, you can see who's on it and who has demonstratable content. And then you can have entertainment trailers, the cinematics, right? You can have games that just want to see announcements and they'll deal more with storylines and shit like that, right? Yeah. And then you can have maybe more an in-depth one. But giving them the opportunity to mix all three is too much magic. It's too much opportunity for distraction or being dishonest, right? In the sense that where they can say, oh, well, this is the gate state now, but we're hoping to be here in the future. And just kind of mix all that together and give people a false sense. And we're trying to do it by 2020. Yeah, see you later, guys. Like, I feel like that creates a whole set of false expectations. And then they're, oh, well, it's delayed or this and that. Like, that to me is is a disservice to them and it's a disservice to us.
Like, games like No Man's Sky, did they get, like, penalized by like advertising? Like, you know how you have like a standard advertising, that game got released and everything and it was not what people thought they paid for. So
no, they didn't I don't think but they got murdered socially.
Just like socially and farther and actually economically.
It's hard to engage with a conversation when you have your phone out.
Sorry, I need my phone to think of what I'm going to say next.
Fucking, you could just listen to what I'm saying.
I'm listening to what you're saying.
I know, but you're like, every time I'm just about to talk, he's like looking at his phone and doing me a half listen thing. Listen, man, you need to just fake it. Fake it. You know? Pretend.
All right.
Pretend. I know you gotta look up stuff on your phone, but like, I need to pretend. He's still doing it. Alright. Well, wait. See what he's doing to us, folks?
Talking.
See what he's doing? Oh, keep talking. Who am I talking to?
Talk to me.
This is like team solo. Right now. So I can't talk to you because you're not listening to me.
I am listening to you.
He's kind of listening to me, folks. My coffee's done. I have no more water. I have some water.
So the next game I'm skeptical about is the Halo 5.
Oh, alright.
Oh, no, sorry. Halo 6. I was going to talk about Halo 5.
You just skipped over it. We just totally not picking up on my conversation. We were just talking before I was trying to talk to you, say my point. You were like, you know. Now I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Neither do I.
I know. All right, what do you got?
All right, Halo 6, skeptical, because for the same reasons as we were just talking about, the Halo 5 had a really bad release. They promised that it was going to be all this different stuff that it wasn't. One of the interesting things about Halo 5 was that the marketing team came up with a better storyline for the game than the actual developers. So basically, the marketing team had this whole thing that the Master Chief, he's a secondary character in that game, and the main character is this guy named Locke, Sergeant Locke or something. And the marketing team came up with this idea that there's going to be like a rivalry between them, and they hyped that up, and it had nothing to do with the game at all. So everyone was all hyped from this big campaign about the rivalry between Locke and Master Chief, and they thought that was going to be in the campaign, and it wasn't there at all. And a lot of people were disappointed. So I feel like if they can't even coordinate what their marketing for a game is going to be opposed to like the storyline, I'm skeptical about the new edition.
Yeah, I don't know. I see that being a problem. I don't have a bigger problem with the storyline not being consistent. That's fine. I don't like when they misrepresent the game or what it's going to be capable of or features of a game, right? So if they say like, oh, you'll be able to go online and play with your friends in a squad and be able to play other squads, and then the game comes out and you can't play it that way, the way they said, that's a problem. But if the two main characters, don't make out or something, I don't care if that never happened, even if they sold it like they were gonna.
True.
I feel like, okay, well, you didn't go that direction, that's fine. But that to me is secondary as opposed to game mechanics and saying, oh, guess what? You'll be able to play this game in 4K and then you can't.
Yeah.
Or you get this, you'll be able to play with 65 people online, and then you get, and it's only 32. That's the type of thing that I'd have more of an issue with. So.
And the last one I had was the new Fallout 76. And the only reason I'm skeptical of that game is because the whole Fallout series and those kind of games are really in-depth RPGs, and I feel adding the element of random players online might ruin the your immersive.
Yeah, we talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
And I don't. You can be skeptical as you want, but I think that you need to look at it in the right filter. You need to look at it as it's not comparable to other Fallout games. It's comparable to Elder Scrolls Online. That's the only other example we have of this massively multiplayer online fucking thing for a console, right? So it's not the Elder Scrolls. It's different than the Elder Scrolls, but it's the same sort of thing where you're in the Fallout universe and there's some PvP and there's some other elements to it. It's not a Fallout game though. It's something where I don't even know if they should even call it Fallout.
That's
76.
why you're looking at it kind of rationally, but I think a lot of people are expecting it to be like Fallout 5.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, where they're like, that's what I kind of saw with Elder Scrolls Online, and then it wasn't like that at all. So.
And that's why I think like you might not be disappointed, but like other people might be, because they'll be like, "This isn't the same."
Well, yeah, experience tells you that. Experience just from the Elder Scrolls Online. A lot of people like that game, but I didn't like it because it was immersive. Because you had these people like jumping around and doing stupid stuff that wasn't like you weren't in the experience. So Fallout 76 will be similar to that, I'm sure. Right?
Yeah.
And it might still be a great game, but if you go into it thinking it's going to be another RPG, then... So I wouldn't say I'm skeptical about it. I'm skeptical that... I'd say I would be skeptical about that it's going to do well. I'd be skeptical that no one's going to have the miscommunication or the misinterpretation that you just spoke of. I'm skeptical that that's not going to happen. Like, it's probably definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
So...
that game is gonna be interesting. They said that you would be able to like find launch codes to nukes and like nuke other people in the game, so you could just be like building your own thing, and all of a sudden you're getting nuked.
It's ridiculous. It's like it's some post-apocalyptic moral thing where we all messed it up, man. It used to be great, and now look what we're left with storyline. But then they just give you nukes to do it again.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Okay, what's the story here? So
that was our top 6?
That was the top 6, the E3 extravaganza.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Took a lot of research, actually, to do that. So,
Yeah, so high five.
High five.
Woo! Research.
Yeah, research. What else you got? You got anything else? You put his phone away again.
A couple interesting things. A couple bigger game developers are moving into the mobile market, which I thought was interesting. Like, there's going to be a new Elder Scrolls mobile game, and they said that it's actually going to be a full RPG on your phone. And
yeah, I mean, as cell phones get more powerful, right, they'll be able to do a lot more stuff like that, and the games are going to go away from the Ninja Fruit games to games like that, which, you know, I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, PlayStation was really ahead of the curve with the Vita, right? In that respect, where they, you know, recognize, and even the Switch, right? The Switch is the same thing, where it can be mobile, but it's the same thing. You can hook it up to your TV because, you know, the power system's the same. It's not like there's a big discrepancy. Like you can take your PlayStation Vita and continue the game on the road with that you're just playing on your PlayStation. Like, it's powerful enough to do that. Yeah. And as cell phones get more powerful, they'll be able to do that, right?
I think the Vita would have done better if it was released in this generation opposed to last. With if you had like PS4 games and stuff instead of PS3 ones on it, I think people might have been more. If it came out at the same time as like the Switch as like a competitor, I think it might have done a lot better. Cause
I think they could re-release the Vita. I think that's going to be a lot where gaming is going. I think that the Switch has some of it right in a sense. I like the way the Switch, you can plug it in or you can take it with you, but I think that it should be, because it's one whole unit, right?
Yeah.
So you can take the whole unit and set it in its little dock and then plug it into your TV and play that way, or you can take the whole unit with you. I think it'd be better to take something that, like, until you can have like a portable screen that you can, like, I don't like the idea of taking the whole console with me.
You don't have to take the whole console with you. You just have to take the screen and the controller slide in the side of the screen for the Switch.
And then you're still mobile? You can take that with you on the bus?
Yeah, because the screen has an internal battery on it.
Yeah, but it has all the, like, so what, it has all the, how does it run that? I don't understand.
So, the dock, all the
so wait a minute.
processor and everything's in the screen. The dock is just to connect it to your TV.
Yeah, I know. But the whole, you're taking the whole thing with you, right?
Okay, yeah, just minus the dock. So I don't know, you want it to be like more compact, like a smaller.
Well, no, I like the idea of, like, not having my $500 console with me out on the bus other places. I like the idea of just having like something small where I still have my base at home, right? Like I like the idea of having I like the idea of maybe having an accessory.
So like a mini version of it that you can take.
Yeah, maybe where like I leave my Nintendo Switch at home, and then when I want to go out, I don't have to unplug everything and put it in the dock or do anything like that. All I need to do is just take my little screen with me and then play.
That is what it's like. You just slide it, like it's you sliding the screen right out of the dock, and it's just the screen, and you have the controllers that slide into the side of the screen.
But that's your whole thing, though, right?
Okay, because
the whole console is what
But
I'm
the reason
saying.
why you don't want to do that is because it's expensive. You don't have to worry about carrying it around
or getting robbed and having
that
whole
makes
thing.
sense.
I like the idea of just having something like stupid that I could just have around and still play the game. Like, I know that's ridiculous. I get that it defeats the purpose, but I like the idea of if I had something happen to that, I could still go home and play my Nintendo.
True. Okay.
I like the idea of like having a base thing and being able to make it mobile, not just like having it mobile. Like, I don't know, because I wouldn't want to take it anywhere. I feel like I'd be like worried. Like, okay, if I take it, like if that was my main console, and I played it all the time, I wouldn't want to. I would take it to your house. I would take it to my friend's house.
But
I would never like
on the
be on
bus
the
or
bus
whatever.
with my foot up.
Yeah.
And like riding through my city and shit. Not thinking some crackhead will hit me in the face and take it because they know they could get a couple $100 for that right away.
Yeah.
Or I could drop it or leave it in my car. You know what I mean? It just makes me think like, man, it's like a lot of money to carry with you. And you're like, oh, your cell phone, but my cell phone fits in my pocket.
Yeah.
Right? The Switch it's small, but it's not going to fit in your pocket. You know, you can maybe get a carrying case for it. It becomes this. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe that's why Nintendo still makes their Game Boys.
Well, I'm just weighing that versus just being able to play games on the bus. Having a laptop, a little bit different, because a laptop is like you can, the amount of things you can do with your laptop if you decided to have it on you is like
Lot
pretty vast,
more, yeah.
right? It's more than video games. You can communicate, you can write things, you can get a lot more accomplished. Like it's almost a justification as opposed to me just playing like Mario Kart on a 20-minute bus ride.
Yeah.
As opposed to like maybe if you're taking like I don't know, man. I'm just I don't like the mobile factor of the Switch for me.
Yeah.
Right? But that's all I was saying. So, anyways, what else do we have? Anything else?
Nope.
We have nothing else for you. You made it to the end of episode 7. Congratulate yourself.
Wait.
Yes, off time and clapping. There, I was like, we're clapping like we're in sync. It's not good. I always wanted to be. I always try to be the first person clapping. I noticed that in high school. Like when you know everybody's
Well, you know
gonna
most
clap.
people want to be the last person to clap. You always hear like everyone stops clapping, you hear one guy go, and then,
always one last
and then
person.
another guy's like,
No, but I always noticed that guy, and it was me a couple times by accident.
yeah.
But I always try to be the first person. I always try to notice who the first person is, and I always try to preempt. I remember doing that at school assemblies because it'd be like, and here's da-da-da-da. I just be like try to get that first clap.
Trying to like, because then you're like, I made everyone else clap.
Yeah, a little
they
bit.
weren't even gonna do it. They weren't even gonna. They were all
I
gonna
started
be.
that. I control them all. They're all following me.
Yeah, I just
Pretty-
remember the people. They're like, there's always like two guys who always want to be the last person to clap. So it'd be like, and then the other guy would be like, like, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if that ever happened.
I've seen it happen.
You haven't friggin' seen it
I've
happen.
seen it happen.
You saw people just didn't want it to be the last
Yeah.
one. The last
Yeah.
two guys were like,
Yeah.
and the other guy was like,
Yeah, I went to a very slow school.
yeah, that's a lineup of short buses every day dropping and picking people up.
Hey, don't judge me.
I'm not judging you. Short buses are cool. Anyways, we say anyways too much in segues.
Anyways.
Episode 8 is coming next week.
Whoa.
Sorry for missing the last week, but there was so much research here. We went to, and Matt with his little, let me go see my family out of town nonsense.
Yeah.
Like this podcast isn't more important.
Yeah, take that, Dad.
Yeah, Matt's dead.
Except I did go see him instead of go to the podcast, though.
Oh, you did. Take that podcast. Well, listen, we always appreciate you guys listening to us. Any comments, any top 5s you can think of, or anything you want to pass along, shout out on the show, just let us know. Hit us up. This is the time while we're small enough for you to connect with us.
Yeah.
So one day we're going to be too big. We're going to be wearing our sunglasses inside with leather jackets and toques.
You email us, you're just going to get a generic email back that says, thanks for
Yeah,
interest
from our
in the...
from our friggin' social media manager. Oh, thanks for da-da-da-da-da.
Well, consider your...
You ain't even getting that. You're not even getting that. I'm sorry. You need to start being...
We're going to send cease and desist letters to all of you.
Well, not all of it. Not everybody.
Well,
I'm just saying, if you try to give recommendations when we're huge, you're going to get lost in the sea. There's going to be a lot of you out there doing that. And right now is the time to get in. You get in now. Get in cheap. It's like buying stock. Invest in us.
Yeah.
And it'll pay off later. In
Yeah.
spades. Why do they say spades? I don't know.
Spades?
I always
We're
feel
gonna
like,
we're going to mail you some
Okay,
shovels.
hold on. Why do they say spades when they could say diamonds?
I've never heard that term. That
It's gonna
saying.
pay off in spades?
Yeah, I've never heard that saying
Oh,
before.
man. It's a pretty common saying. Pay off in spades.
Because
but why
the
do they
ace
say
of spades is so fancy looking.
Sure, but if you're gonna choose from suits of cards,
Diamonds
why wouldn't
sounds
you say
better.
diamonds?
Yeah, sounds better.
I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with spades, idiot. Give me the diamonds.
Yeah.
Pay it off in diamonds. I don't want spades. Oh, it pays off in spades. Oh, cool. Keep your fucking spades. Spade shovel. I don't know what a spade is.
Yeah.
Clubs. No thanks.
Yeah.
Hearts. Depending on who's giving me the heart, maybe.
Yeah.
But diamonds. Diamonds are forever, baby.
Diamonds are forever. Yeah, that's a James Bond movie.
Wait, are they?
Yeah.
They call me Mellow Yellow. That's because we sang that in that term. Diamonds are forever.
I don't think that's how the
They
actual
call
song
me
goes.
Mellow Yellow. that'd be the worst thing for diamonds, eh? Diamonds are. It sounds like real like tropically or something, or like do 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 like one of those cats. You know, I'm singing with them little ukuleles, the beach songs. They're always singing the snare. Like
Yeah, yeah.
little, singing
Is
something
there a name
stupid.
for them? Ukulele guys?
No, but there's probably a name for that genre of music because there's like a lot of genres of music. And,
Yeah. Tropical. But not tropical house.
I feel like it would be. I feel like it would have to be. If it was gonna be a genre, it would be. What are those? What are the friggin' shirts called? The Hawaiian shirts. What are they actually called?
Oh, I thought it was called Hawaiian shirts.
Bahama Tommies. Tommy
What?
Bahamas. Some shit. There's an actual name for them. Like, they're an actual brand of shirt that these things are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're an actual brand. Like, the legit ones.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Bahama Tommy.
I think Tommy Bahama. I think, man.
Tommy Bahama.
I'm sorry if
Sounds like a kind of drink. Can I get a Tommy Bahama?
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be pink and slushy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like
yeah.
Cold to have like the little like friggin'.
Or I was thinking like bright
umbrella.
sky blue, a Tommy
Ooh.
Bahama, just because named Tommy.
Wait, are you coming on a? We're having a gamer trip. Are you coming with us in September?
A gamer trip?
Yeah.
It's the first time hearing about it. First, the podcast is hearing about it.
So some of the friends of the show, iQuick and Creel and Ruined, all guests on our IGU podcast.
Whoa.
We're planning a trip. We're probably trying to go somewhere like tropical. So
That
Cuba,
would be legit.
DR, somewhere where we can. We don't want to necessarily do resort. We might, but we might want to rent a house and just have some drinks. And it just depends on what the price options are. But we're planning for maybe September.
Sounds interesting.
Maybe we'll do a video blog and we'll upload it to our channel.
Whoa.
That'd be cool. It's
That
a
would
gamer meetup.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the plan. Keep in mind. I don't know what I was gonna say there. I was gonna say keep in mind something else, but then it like completely mind blank. So I don't know. Maybe it's a good time to just call this podcast. It's a good time to call it
Snooty Ghost Podcast.
the Snooty Ghost Podcast.
Episode 7.
Yeah. The Snooty Ghost Podcast, episode 7.
Give us that name one more time of what this podcast was called.
Oh no! Don't.
Fine, I'll do it. The Big E3 Super Expose Spectacular Extravaganza Extraordinaire
Was a success. We did it. So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And we'll be back next week with episode 8. And episode 8 will be great. Don't be late.
Because it rhymes.
It is fate. Spaghetti on a plate.
Whoa.
What? Spaghetti on a plate. Okay, that's it. I got it. That's it. All right, everybody. Peace.
The Snooty Ghost Podcast, brought to you by the International Gamers Union.
You've reached a checkpoint.